House Democrats' release yesterday of more than 3,500 Russian-backed Facebook ads is refocusing attention on social media companies and their role in our democracy. Twitter revealed in January that more than 50,000 accounts were linked to Russia's attempts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
Dick Costolo served as Twitter's CEO from 2010 to 2015, but before that, he co-founded and ran 3 startups, including FeedBurner. The feed management provider was sold to Google in 2007 for $100 million. Dick Costolo joins us at the table. Dick, good morning.
Morning.
First question, is Prince Harry going to keep the beard or not? And if you're in the game, we're going to raise our little 500 bet.
Thank goodness I missed the betting part.
What do you say?
Well,
is he keeping it or not?
There was new information provided during the break. Which
Don't go with the new information.
Okay. I'm saying he's going to shave.
Okay. Huh?
I think he's going to shave. I changed my mind.
And why did you? Okay, why did you change your mind?
I was told he's going to wear his uniform, and I think if you wear the uniform, you have to shave.
And the person who gave you that information is
was the person on the other side of the bet.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, to influence you.
Okay, thanks
in the digital age, Gayle, information changes quickly.
Right. See, it's all real time.
I liked you, Dick Costolo, 5 minutes ago. Okay, but let's talk about this. It's widely believed that the Russians certainly influenced the election in 2016. But do you believe that they changed the outcome? And do you think there's anything we need to be doing to get ready for the midterms?
Yeah. So I think it's very hard to say that they changed the outcome. There's almost, with 100% certainty, I can tell you that they meddled in trying to influence people's opinions about the election. And I think that will be the case in the 2018 midterms as well.
So now that we know that, what should we be doing about that?
Well, the challenges for these companies, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, et cetera, are traditionally the hackers have been people people trying to steal account information or or spammers who are trying to get you to click on a link and buy something. The challenge now is that some of these hackers are state actors, like the Russians, the Chinese, to some extent the Iranians. And these state actors aren't trying to get you to click on something to take money from you. They're not trying to steal your account information. They're just trying to sway your opinion. Yeah. That's a much, much harder problem for these companies to attack.
Can I ask you something about the pace of change? You were at Twitter between 2010 and 2015. When you watch how fast things are changing now, how fast they changed with Twitter, can even catching up to what's going on in the new ways it's being used, is that even possible at a regulatory level, or is there some other way we have to look at the pace of change?
The pace of change is extraordinary. You saw it with the Google Assistant video you showed earlier. I mean, we tend to think that artificial intelligence is a long ways away, and now here it is. And we're asking if Google's going to announce that it's a machine you're talking to or not. The notion then that Congress, who during the interviews with Zuckerberg, to be perfectly frank, seemed not up to speed on what the platforms were like. I mean, one of the folks even said to Mark, my grandson William is on Instagram, and as if Mark, like, obviously, you know my grandson William.
Yeah.
The notion that people who are not up to speed on these platforms are going to be able to regulate them in real time is probably not going to happen.
Let's be honest, they're free, right? Facebook is free, Twitter is free. The only way those companies make money is mobile advertising.
Correct.
We hand over all of our data. We hand over our age, our gender, our professions. Some apps I've been on recently, they ask how much money you make. You hand over all this data, and Twitter, Facebook, lots of other social media platforms make money off advertising.
Right.
The cat's out of the bag.
Right.
I mean, I don't see how this is changing.
Well, it's interesting. You know, when I was running Twitter, the big challenge that we had was it was considered a strategic advantage that Facebook had all this information about you personally that they could use to help advertisers micro-target. And Twitter didn't, because you just had to sign up with an account ID and a password, and that was it. That's sort of flipped now. That advantage that Facebook had in some senses has become, people have become aware that, wait a minute, I've given them an extraordinary amount of information. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. So there are platforms where you don't have to provide that information. You don't on Twitter. That had previously been considered a strategic disadvantage. Now maybe it's an advantage.
But all things in, do you think we're better off with Twitter and Facebook and those kind of platforms?
I do, and I know that, and we've had this discussion that the platforms should probably be a lot more aggressive about dealing with abuse. And I certainly have said that before and believe that went back to 2010 when I first started as CEO at Twitter, that we should have been a lot more aggressive about that. But it's also the case that these platforms are a reflection of somewhat society's dysfunction. You've got a president who calls people names on Twitter. You know, he's modeling behavior that other people in society are reflecting.
Dick Costolo, great to have you here. Thanks
for having me.